Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this emergency briefing of blah, blah, blah. I'm Jason Stalakis. I'm here at the Off the Monster crew. Jeff, Jeremy, and Derek. Derek has been on for a lot of episodes now. You know him. But fellas, how are we feeling now that Sir Lucas Giolito is now a Boston Red Sox?
I've never had gelato, but I would like to try gelato.
It's a creamier ice cream. You know, it's
sounds like a coffee at Starbucks.
No, it's an Italian. I always thought it was like an Italian espresso, but I feel like it is a dessert. I just hope it's.
Although every word that has more than 6 letters sounds like a coffee at Starbucks, so it's fine.
Right.
Well, I just hope his fastballs aren't serving up dessert all summer long next year.
Right.
There you go.
But slap an Italian name on something, it immediately comes better. So it's just how it is. Anyways,
because it's Friday, and Mr. Lucas Kluber and I are definitely not taking this signing serious. We're going to lean on John Hendry's trust fund to push us in the right direction as far as any viable stats that Giolito can
make us feel better.
Yeah, make us feel better about this signing.
Too
much of a pop.
No, I do
No.
I got some stuff.
Man.
No, I do.
Yeah,
we had to leave it a little bit. Make you guys wonder.
This is as awkward as a Verdugo interview.
Maybe if he had an Italian name, maybe he actually wouldn't be terrible.
Verdugo.
Dave O'Brien.
Giolito.
The thing with Giolito, let's start with Giolito on this, right? Let's start here with Giolito, right? If you can get the 2019 to 2021 version of Giolito back, which I'm assuming the Red Sox believe they can, you have a middle of the rotation arm. And Giolito 2019, 29 starts, 176 innings, 341 ERA, 343 FIP, a 5.2 FWAR. 2020, 72 in a third innings and 12 starts, 348 ERA, 319 FIP, a 2 F4, 2.0 F4. Obviously, the 2020 stats dipped a little bit just because they only shortened season, obviously. And then 2021, 31 starts, 178 innings, 178 and 2/3 innings, 353 ERA, 379 FIP, and a 4.1 WAR, F4 that is. If you can get those 3 years of Giolito, bring those back, you're looking at someone who's very solid. And you look at his, you even further advanced statistics. A lot of people like to use Sierra as well as FIP, 357, 351, 372 across those years. Even in 2022, 379 Sierra, which is solid. It's just this past year's, it bumped up to 421. But if you just take his time in Chicago, it was 410, which isn't, it's not great, but it's not terrible. I think in Chicago, when you look at his year in Chicago before he went to the Angels in Cleveland, 21 starts, 121 innings, a 379 ERA. The 443 FIP is a little bit high, but I think if you look at Giolito for what he is and mid-rotation to back end, which is I think where he fits in, because I think everyone's envisioning next year Sale and Bayo or some sort of like the middle, and it's like the 2 and 3. So if you're slotting Giolito in as a 4 in your mind, if that's how you think about it, I think you can look at the sign and go, okay, makes some sense. But if you're looking at Sale and Bayo as a 3-4 and you're slotting Giolito in the 2 spot, then that's where that's where the sign does not look good at all. And if you don't think the Red Sox are going to get a big name starter, then and Jason and I talked about this last night. It doesn't matter who you sign if you don't go and get a top-end starter, whether it's free agent or trade. Any other starter you sign, the move is not going to look that good because not only are they bumped up a spot because you don't have the top-end guy, it's like, oh, your top move was, let's say in this case, Lucas Giolito, and he should not be your top move in terms of pitching. So I think if you look at Giolito for what he is, I think you can look and go, okay, see what they're seeing. They're hoping they can get back. They believe they can get him back to his best with Andrew Bailey, with Breslow there in house and whatnot. And they brought in a new director of pitching. I forget his name off the top of my head. but he came over from the Twins. So, like, I think they are banking on getting Giolito at his best. It's not a guarantee that they're going to get that, but if they do get that, very worthwhile investment. And even if he opts out, because he pitches really well, you can put a qualifying offer on him and get draft pick compensation for him. So overall, I think it's a signing that makes a lot of sense for where the Red Sox are. There's no long-term risk, and in terms of, like, it's not this long deal. But at the same time, you have the ability to reap the rewards of him pitching well, whether it's over 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, or even 1 year plus then getting a draft pick for him potentially. So I think if you just don't make it seem like he's this massive, massive signing, you just go, he's a piece of the puzzle. I think the signing makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, I hope that they need more. I think that's the bottom line here. We can all agree. They need more. You cannot roll into the season with Giolito at the top. They need more guys. And does this give me confidence they'll sign someone to a long-term deal? Not really. Because in a way, this is a 1 year deal in disguise, because it's kind of a 1 year prove it deal, because if he has a great year, he's of course going to opt out. And look at the free agent market next year. They're going to set the bar so high, it's going to be insane, because a lot of pitchers next year are aces, or they have ace stuff. And if Giolito doesn't have that good of a year, if he has like a 2022 type of year, yeah, you're probably looking at him opting in. I don't know the exact terms of his deal, but he has some club option if he does something.
It's okay. I got it. So for 2025, he has a player option. So it only has a $1 million buyout. So if he does opt out, it's not crazy. So, and then I think it's like 18 or 19 million. I think it's 19 million for 25. I think, and then if he opts, so that's if he opts in. If he opts in, I think it's 19 million. I think, or 20 something like that. And if he opts out, he gets the $1 million buyout, and that's it. If he opts in, then you get the 19 or 20 million, whatever the number is, in 2025. Then there's an option for 2026. It's a tiny bit complicated, but it's not really that complicated. But just it's like one of the two things happens. If in 2025 he pitches under 140 innings, it's a $14 million club option. If he pitches over 140 innings, it's a $19 million mutual option for 2026.
Okay.
So, for example, even if he goes over 140 innings in 2025 and isn't that good, the Red Sox can just cut ties with them because they won't take the mutual option, right? But at the same time, so at absolute worst, you only have him on the books for 2 years at absolute worst if he's not great. So worst case scenario, you're not having that much of a long-term. There's not a real long-term risk. You're not running that massive long-term risk. Yes, you'd have to still have him on the books in 25, but you're the Red Sox. If 19, 20 million is going to make the difference between you missing the playoffs or being a World Series contender, that's more of an ownership and spending problem than a Lucas Giolito problem. Let's be honest.
Right. I'd like to get some thoughts from Full Throttle Gelato. That's a new one.
Full Throttle Gelato, you're on.
I mean, it's exactly what we expected from Red Sox organization with a signing like this. Very timid, very simple, very short. There's no dedication to the long term with this team. It's all short term. I swear they have their heads in the sand thinking that these Cy Young Hall of Fame guys are going to just appear out of the woodworks from this farm system that they built or Hein Bloom built over the last few years. And that doesn't happen unless you're in Tampa Bay in the chemistry lab in the Everglades, which they tried to mirror with Hein Bloom. And it could happen that there's some decent players that do arise with these guys, but the likelihood of all these draft players or all these prospects coming to form are very, very low. It's, so do I like the signing? No, I could care less. I'm not going to. It's Giolito. He's been average for a long time. And the next signing that it's on the horizon is Teoscar, who's we
We're
talked about
hoping.
last. What?
We're hoping.
Yeah,
Right.
who's an over 200 a season strikeout guy himself, who at Fenway and with the guys surrounding him, he'll probably be around 250.
13th highest slugging percentage in Fenway Park history, though. So
We didn't talk about this yesterday, but the new report out right now is the Red Sox are reluctant to give him the 4th year. Oh, yeah, and are interested in.
Right.
They're reluctant to give the 4th year, but if they do, it's a done deal. But the
Yeah.
Red Sox are insanely.
So they won't.
They won't.
I think the only way it happens, and have to
From
like
what I've
up for
heard-
EAB and then like make it like an option.
I may or may not have heard that if they just add the 4th year, it's a done deal.
I'll tell you what, if the Red Sox go out and sign Montgomery, you're hooking me back in a little bit because Montgomery is a big game pitcher. Yeah, is he on the opposite end of his career? Absolutely. At any time, could one of these, a guy like him blow out his elbow, blow out his shoulder, fall delivering some friggin' groceries to Grandma Moses down the street on his bicycle? Who knows? But I like Montgomery. Montgomery's a proven winner. Yeah, no, he didn't do it in New York, but I don't know why.
Is that really
everybody
his
goes
fault?
to
It
No,
wasn't.
no, they.
No. 'Cause,
I
yeah,
mean,
you looked at
everybody's head over heels about the new pitching coach. So I'm curious to see what happens there.
Andrew Bailey has the track record from being in San Francisco of turning a pitching staff around. That pitching staff the last couple of years under him has been amazing. And like an example of it is Jason and I talked about a guy who, just to kind of keep on the radar, not that he's necessarily going to sign with the Red Sox, but he's a name that is interesting. A guy like a Sean Manaea, who has had his ups, had his downs, struggled last year. They go with him, go in the lab, they add a sweeper to his mix, and he had like a 3.40 ERA after adding the sweeper to his pitch mix. Like, stuff like that is stuff that you're looking at, like an Andrew Bailey hopefully bringing to the table. Maybe a guy's struggling a little bit. Hey, let's get into the lab. Let's maybe turn out a couple things. Maybe add a pitch or make a slight variation to a pitch that the guy
Change
already
a
has.
grip or two.
Yeah, and then you might get something, right? That's what you're looking for out of a guy like Andrew Bailey. Those slight changes that you're not changing who the guy is, but you're adding another weapon, or you're making a weapon that they already have even better.
Can I add on to that too? I mean, it's not as hard as a lot of people think, because, and fun fact, I want to bring this story up. Erod was having trouble with his changeup. Then Dustin Pedroia comes up to him and introduces him to a new grip, a better grip to his changeup. And it was so much better. And now look at him. He's better. But like changes like those are what you kind of hope for a guy like Andrew Bailey. Guy who, like Derek said, I'm going to reiterate everything you just said. Guy who can add another pitch. You know what? Stats just said it all. So I like to hear from Lucas Kluber.
Oh
my gosh.
Here's how I feel about this, right? This is it's more than this type of contracted deal. And I get it's team friendly. I'm not going to argue against that. It is team friendly. And again, it's a lower risk, possible high reward. But here's what sucks about it. It feels like this is what Milwaukee does. You know what really sucks? Milwaukee's made the playoffs. Milwaukee doesn't finish in last place when they do this stuff. It feels like Minnesota would do this. Guess what? Minnesota's been to the playoffs recently.
They signed Carlos Correa.
Right. But again, this is the type of stuff that happens. Tampa does these deals. Tampa's a successful organization. The Red Sox have not been successful at this. They haven't. I don't know why. I don't know what. But I also know that back when we did do signings, we were more successful. And we're not a small market team. We are not. Why are we operating like that? It doesn't make sense to me. And
there's nothing wrong with this, with making like certain small market moves in terms of it doesn't hurt to bring in a Giolito or maybe the quote people who complain about the dumpster diving. It's like every team does that, but make the big moves too. Don't just make the smaller moves. Make the big moves as well, is what you're saying.
Right, exactly. Because I'll be honest, like I follow Milwaukee. I like Milwaukee. I've gotten it out there. If this was Milwaukee doing it, I would be like, you know what, this is great. Like you're adding possibly something to a playoff team that could work out. And if not, I know that there are some things to shore it up. With the Red Sox right now, if Giolito doesn't work, what do we have to fall back on? Nothing. Like really nothing. Maybe one of the guys comes up from the minors and, does all right, but that's really not in their plans this year. So what is it? It feels like more of the same. It feels like blah. And I totally agree with our full throttle gelato there that if it's Montgomery, then I know, okay, there's another piece to this, and Montgomery's the bigger piece. So I feel like we can shore up some things there. But to just go in with Sale, and no offense against Bayo, he's still young. He's still probably going to struggle. He had a pretty decent year last year, but he could struggle again a little bit. And then we got, Pivetta. And it's okay, here's more of the same, guys. Another last place team. And it's just, to me, it's unacceptable.
They're trying. It's almost like if they don't make a big move, the team to like make the playoffs and they're going to need to catch lightning in a bottle, kind of like they did in 21, right? I do want to bring up. It probably means absolutely nothing. Did you guys see who Lou Merloni's profile picture on Twitter was before Giolito signed?
Montgomery?
No, it was Giolito. It's been Giolito for like 2 weeks.
Oh.
Is anybody else
profile picture? But you guys know what his profile picture is now?
Montgomery?
James Paxton.
Oh, shit.
Although I will caveat it with him because he did say that he wants Paxton to be back. So,
and I agree with
that.
I'm
not against it. I'm totally not against Paxton. You want to bring Paxton back, bring him back. But you still need to bring in a top guy. I'm cool with Paxton. You want to bring in Giolito and Paxton. Cool. There's nothing wrong with that. You still need that top end of the rotation guy, or at least close to that, right? And because they have a lot of interchangeable pieces. You look at a guy like Pivetta, he could go into the bullpen. Tanner Houck can go into the bullpen. Carter Crawford can go into the bullpen. Oh, Pivetta, Crawford, Houck, they also all could be trade candidates as well, especially Pivetta, because are they going to extend him? With what the pitching market is, I don't know if I want to extend him. So you're looking at three guys where, and even you could, you're looking at three guys where they're not locked into the rotation. So if you take them out right now, all you have is Giolito, Sale, and Bayo. And then a bunch of guys that are going to be competing for rotation spots.
It almost feels like at best, this would be like another Michael Wacha case where Giolito comes in, he does all right, he opts out, and he's gone. And you know what really sucks? Wacha still had a good season last year. Like, that kind of sucks. I wish we would have had that.
Yeah. And his contract was weird, though. He was a wacky contract with the Padres.
Right. It was, but still, it's like if we're gonna sign these guys to these kind of one-year deals and then off they go after having a decent season, like I almost feel like we're just getting kicked in the nuts. Like that's crap.
Difference is you can give him you can give Giolito a qualifying offer, and it would make sense realistically because qualifying offer would be about 1 year, probably 20 to 21 million next year.
Right.
So if he has a good year,
spend money on him.
Well, yeah, but you give him a qualifying offer and if he takes it, great. If he doesn't take it, you're getting a draft pick back.
Yeah.
So you're getting value for him. So worst case, if he is really good, you're going to get value back as either he'll stay, whether they re-sign him, he opts in, which I would doubt, or you just qualifying offer him and maybe he goes elsewhere, but you at least get a draft pick for him, right? So you get a year for him and a draft pick. A year of Giolito and a draft, which wouldn't be bad. Obviously, we'd like to see, and I think what we're looking at right now is in terms of this team. If you can get a top end guy and be a one, and maybe it's with a guy who's got term too. You're not just looking at a 2 year or whatnot. I think your ideal situation is you're looking for term, with that top end guy, you could look, if you start looking ahead into like a 2025, 26, whatnot, you can see whoever that top guy is, and then you have a Bayo, and then add a couple of pieces, and you can start to see things kind of coming into picture with how a rotation may look, in 2025. I'm not saying to look towards 25 now, but you can't totally disregard what your team might look like in 2 years because Sale's not going to be there. Probably. You hope not. You hope no one gives him a Cy Young vote because the last thing we need is his option become vesting for 2025. That's the last thing we need. But besides that,
Haven's going to do it just to piss us off.
I know he is.
I have a question. I'll get the joke one out of the way. How does Lucas Giolito signing with the Red Sox impact LeBron's legacy?
It doesn't because LeBron hates Boston. To be fair, he hates Boston. He can dangle the fact over us that that he's a partial owner of the Red Sox.
He's a partial owner in a city he hates. That's good. Good for him. Good for him.
And number two, does this move the needle at all for the Red Sox?
I wouldn't say it necessarily moves the needle, but it pushes the offseason forward. If that makes sense.
I think it does a little bit.
I don't think it really moves. It moves the needle in terms of the fact that that's out the door. You don't have to worry. You got Giolito. You can then move on and continue doing other business that's maybe even higher priority in terms of getting that frontline starter. Whether it's free agent market, whether it's trade market, in the free agent market, you have Montgomery, who I'm a little iffy on just in terms of price because I don't know what the price of him because Fangraphs crowdsource was like 5 years, $105 million. Now everyone's saying 6 years, $160. Before we know it, who knows? Maybe what happens if Montgomery's closing in on $200 million plus? Do you really want to give him that?
If we can defer 90% of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Derek,
we didn't talk about that at all last night.
Let's bring up what we talked. Jason and I talked about before after you jumped off, Jeff. Is if Montgomery's pushing $200 million, would you, or even maybe eclipses $200 million? Would you rather take Montgomery for, let's say, 7 years, $200, or would you rather take Blake Snell in some sort of scenario where Snell's not worth that much? Or because, if you had to pick between one of the two, because Jason and I were on the train of, you know what? I think we probably lean Snell in terms of if Montgomery is going to get near $200 million, if not more. I think we would lean Snell because the thing with Snell is now. Who knows? This is hypothetical because, as it seems, what people are saying, Red Sox probably may not even want to pay for either of them.
Snell does not have the character to pitch in a big city.
But
there's nothing about
I don't think that would be a problem with him.
I think it would.
John Henry's got a pickleball franchise he needs to purchase. So,
you can sign Blake Snell to play pickleball.
Yeah, that is true. No, but I think the thing with Snell is that Jason and I were talking about is. The joke I got came up is how many times has Blake Snell won a Cy Young? 2 times. How many times Garrett Cole's won one? Huh? You can go and say with Snell, maybe it's not the most convincing option, but you can realistically go and say he's our ace. He's won 2 Cy Youngs. He's put up if it's not for Kevin Cash, he could potentially have one of the best pitching performances in a World Series game in the last 20 years. If it was
Snell to me is Zach Greinke 2.0.
But Zach Greinke was a great pitcher.
And he never pitched for a big market team.
And now he pitched for the Dodgers for a little bit.
Yeah,
but here's my thing.
He won a Cy Young. Almost won a Cy Young.
For the Dodgers.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
The Dodgers and Houston.
Guys, we have breaking news.
Oh.
Hello, gentlemen.
Boylston Street.
Hey.
I do want to add to real quickly. I do want to add before we move off from Snell. The thing with Snell that I brought up with Jason last night is Snell is in this spot.
You're missing it, man.
Oh, what's up, bro?
So
Represent.
No.
Fucking A, man.
Jeremy.
So I have
before we move
no
off of-
muscles. 37 Ronin, man. Represented
Fucking A, I
by
love it.
37ronin.com. Go and get your swag today.
There you go.
baby.
Yes, there we go. Before we move off of Snell, I want to say what I brought up with Jason last night, and it was with Snell, his stuff is like he is really good at getting swing and misses. Guys don't hit him when he throws in the zone, and that's proven. You look at his baseball savant page, his chase rate is like stupidly high. He has one of the best chase rates in baseball. I mean, not chase rates, sorry, swing and miss rates in baseball. Here's the problem. He sometimes, a lot of times he nibbles on the edges of the plate. So if you're a hitter and you go, well, I can't hit it even when he throws it in the zone, why would I swing at it if it's on the edge of the zone? And because he nibbles so much, he ends up walking guys because he just throws everything around the corners. And it ends to a lot of borderline ball calls for him because guys aren't swinging because they know it's a pitch that they're most likely not going to hit or not going to make solid contact with. But then when he does throw the ball in the zone, guys can't hit it. Guys
Right.
swing and miss. So it's that weird like caveat for him where he's got this stuff that is really, really good and would fit. You think about Andrew Bailey, would fit really, really well. However, the problem is you just got to get him to throw strikes. But at the same time, in the grand picture of Snell, like I said, you can say, hey, he is our ace. With Montgomery, you can't really say that. As much as I like Montgomery, you can't say that with Montgomery. With Snell, you can go, hey, this guy's won 2 Cy Youngs. Like, as much as he's been inconsistent at times, like he could be. He's the guy where if he's at his best, he is an ace. Montgomery, probably not.
Well,
that's just the case for it.
At least with Montgomery, this first couple of years, he is a top of the line rotation guy. Whether you can say 1 or 2, you can go either way with it. I do agree with Snell. That is an ace. He has 2 Cy Youngs. I actually wouldn't have a problem with Snell. I would be a little apprehensive with the big pressure stuff because in a city like Boston and how passionate, I'll just put it that way, passionate we can be, it can be a lot. So I do have some trepidation there with him in that situation. But at the same time, he's had one hell of a World Series performance. That's high pressure. So he has proven he can perform in high pressure situations.
And he's proven he can win in the AL East.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
He can win in the AL East. So I'm not opposed to that. I do worry about the money, though. If it's north of
exactly.
I don't know. And it's
what about the short-term thing that's been coming out recently on Snell? How he'd take high AAV, but short-term.
Right.
Sure.
Snell, I think, is 31. And
he'll be entering his age 32 season.
Right.
I mean, if the room, like the thing is, what if it's like a 2-year deal with options for 3rd and 4th year, and let's say the first 2 years at like 34, 35 million the first 2 years, and then the option for the 3rd year is like 30, and then the option for the 4th year is like 25, let's say.
Right.
I mean, I think I think that's a deal that like you look at and go, especially when we talk about Red Sox ownership, that's a deal. They don't have any long-term, this isn't no 8-9 year deal that they haven't been willing to give out with the exception of Rafael Devers. And Rafael Devers is not the rule. He's the exception to that. He's the exception to the rule. They have not been wanting to give out these 8-9 year deals. If now we know Snell has West Coast preference and it's all hypothetical, but I think that if Montgomery starts to push 200 million, which you never know, there's a chance he could. I think you have to start leaning toward. I think you would have to lean towards Snell in terms of one or the other.
What does our Crown Prince of Boylston Street say?
Oh, by the way, I wasn't laughing at you stats earlier. I was laughing because I looked at everyone's name around the horn. I was like, holy shit, no one's using we're all using pseudonyms. I don't know enough to be honest with you about statistical acumen, the way that, stats does and you guys do. I just like watching baseball and love the Red Sox. I don't give a flying fuck who pitches. I don't care who hits. I want to see some baseball, and I'd like to see some pride restored back to the franchise. In my humble opinion, it is the best franchise in sports, period, because it saw trials and tribulations for almost 9 decades and did the impossible. And then they did the impossible again in 2007. 13, coming back from a horrific domestic terrorist event and winning it all. I mean, that's the shit that fucking movies are written about. 18 was unbelievable. And just I think Hein Bloom, had he got a chance, he'd have cooked this offseason and done some good stuff. But we've sucked, 3 out of the last 4 years, been in the cellar. And right now, Red Sox fans are ravenous for something sexy. They like teasing about Yamamoto. I knew that was a pipe dream at best. I knew that dude was going to get the bank. Did I expect the Dodgers to pick him up after they fucking just, cashed in on Ohtani? No, but Ohtani's deal is I don't understand how MLB can allow that to happen, but it is what it is.
Because it's what the players and owners agreed to. They allow it's in the CBA.
It's just unique. We're not privy to the nuances that go into the CBA and things like that, to the extent that agents and team ownership are. But I think the Red Sox need to do a few more things to give the fan base something to cheer about, to put asses in the seat back at Fenway. I mean, it's got a big marquee on the side that says America's most beloved ballpark. Well, according to the statistics from last year, it was rated 11th, with an average of 33,000 people per game. And I think its max capacity is just under 38. So when you're losing 5,000 people per game, what is that saying about the fan base? What is that saying about the product that you're putting on the field? And you don't have to be a statistical genius like Stats there or Jason to know that when you're signing a 37, 38-year-old guy with a 2-year deal with an opt-out, in Turner, you don't have to have their acumen to go, okay, that doesn't sound like the sexiest deals. We don't know much about this guy. Now, Turner came in and fit right in Boston and fucking had a career year, I think, in home runs and RBIs, or at least in RBIs maybe. But we don't want the 1-year deal. We want something sexy. We want something that's, I tweeted this out a couple of weeks ago, and I can't remember exactly what I said, but it alluded to, for the last 4 years, we've been in a safe relationship with the good girl. Well, now we want to go out with the whore that does cocaine and charges up our credit cards and leaves us on the side of the road somewhere, but she promises to love us. I think that's what we want now.
Oh, God. Ay.
Nice
It is good. That is a good comparison.
By the way, I did have to fact check our two statisticians because I don't know if Jeremy heard that. He didn't point out us as good statisticians. But y'all wrong. Zenke won in 2009 with the Kansas City Royals. Cy Young.
Well,
Hey,
he
I
was
didn't
top
say
3.
anything.
You all said he won it with the Dodgers.
I didn't say it.
I didn't say it. I said he was a Cy Young candidate with the Dodgers.
Oh.
To be fair, I didn't say it.
This is, by the way, this is recorded, and we could play it back later.
Ooh.
We'll see. We'll see.
What the fans of blah 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 tell you. The facts.
Damn it.
Well, I will say this. The thing is, we can talk about how we want to have like the like that sexy move, but like if ownership's not going to pay, like you're not getting that move. It doesn't matter who's running the team, who's in the front office. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if Dave Dombrowski's there. The only thing Dombrowski might achieve at this point is maybe persuading John Henry to give him a little bit more money. But at this point, it feels like the checkbook's closed pretty much, especially in terms of long-term deals. It's closed, right? You look at outside of Devers, what are the long-term deals? Story, but that wasn't a top of the market deal. And that's it.
Right.
Really?
You say it wasn't a top of the market deal, but it was for the Red Sox.
Right. It was.
But in all honesty, who do we really want them to go out and sign someone to 12, 14 years like some of these contracts are?
Depends on the player.
I mean, that's obvious. I mean, that goes without saying. But
Ohtani's a unicorn.
Yeah,
no,
right,
but not even that. If so, okay, I'll put it like this: if someone told me next offseason the Red Sox are going to offer Juan Soto 12 years, I'm hopping on board. I don't care. I'm hopping on board. Soto would just
Right.
and the thing, it's like it depends on the player, right? A guy like a Juan Soto, hop on board with you look at the Padres with like Fernando Tatis Jr. They gave him 14 years. He's the type of guy. Yes, you give him 14 years, right? It depends on the player, but let's say, for example, let's say 4 years from now, Marcelo Meyer is about to go into arbitration 4 or 5 years from now, and the Red Sox go and give him 12 years. I'm not complaining about that, right? In that hypothetical, right? So I think it all depends on the player. Or even
and
if
I agree
you
with
just
that.
cannot have a guy who's 35 giving him 10 plus years, but if the guy's 30, I can see it.
I agree with you, but here's the thing: the Dodgers are getting those players. The Yankees are getting those players. The Padres are getting those players because they're offering that kind of money. We're the Boston Red Sox. We have the money.
It goes to what Andrew Friedman said in 2016. It's a great quote from Andrew Friedman. If you're logical on every free agent, you will finish third on every free agent. The Red Sox haven't been willing to extend themselves to go and get a free agent. They haven't been willing to extend themselves to overpay for a guy, even though they want him. They haven't been willing to do that. We bring up Teoscar Hernandez, and what seems like if they just give him 4 years, they can get him. Well, why not? Just go do it.
Fucking year to the Red Sox. What is another fucking year? But they're acting like we're the Royals. We can't do that. We'll go bankrupt.
But it's not even about another year, and it's going to be a problem if you give him 3 or 4 years. 3 or 4 years might decide whether you get him or don't get him. Like, if you want the guy, go and get him. Do what it takes to go and get him, right?
But is he the guy?
That's the thing. I look back to Moneyball. Remember the movie Moneyball where they cut the banners down? I think it was like Zito. That wasn't Zito. It was Damon,
Giambi, Damon, and
Giambi.
Damon. Yeah.
The Red Sox have no banners to lay out in front of their ballpark outside of Devers. And even Devers isn't a hot sell because he's just not that guy who's on TV, whatever show you want to say, selling the Red Sox. So they don't have anybody that puts people in their seats as the Red Sox. But if you look back in the history of the Red Sox, there were guys. I mean, you had Clemens, you had Pedroia, you had Noma, you had Pedro, Manny. Wade Boggs. I mean, you can go up and down the list. The Prince of Boylston, Mr. Napoli. You know, guys that put people in the seats for years. And for the last 5 years, outside of Bogarts, who was still, in my honest opinion, was a silent leader. He was never a vocal or boisterous leader, at least outside of the clubhouse. The Red Sox don't have a face of the organization outside of no. You know the face of the organization is. Let me finish my statement. Let me finish my statement. The face of the Red Sox nation, and 'tis the season, is Scrooge motherfucking McDuck.
No, I think Devers is the face of that. Is the face of the organization. But I think with Devers, Devers does have star power, but I think part of it's due to the lack of winning. I think that's a big thing, but they don't really have like that secondary. So, like for example, we want to talk about David Ortiz. Pedroia was always there by his side later in the year, later on, right?
Right.
You always had Pedroia there as well, and then you had other guys too. But you had Ortiz as one, Pedroia was two, right? Right now you have Devers. You don't have anyone else.
Let me ask you guys a question.
Gets there, but
what's up?
Let me ask you guys a question. So let's take a look at 13 and 18. On 13, who was the big name?
Ortiz.
Who was the household name? David Ortiz, right? But outside of that, who did we have? We had Johnny Gomes. We had Mike Napoli. Napoli before the Red Sox was in the A's organization or the Angels organization as a catcher, and then we signed him on a 3-year, $36 million deal. It got cut to 1 year, 6 with incentives because of his hip. But outside of that, we picked up Shane Victorino, but Shane was, arguably on the downside of his career. In fact,
but he made himself a face of the
Yeah,
His
but
charisma.
he wasn't
John
the
Lester.
big signing. He wasn't sexy. He was
Buckles.
stable. But you look at 18. Who on 18 outside of Chris Sale, maybe Chris Sale, who was the big name? David
Mookie.
Price? Not really.
No, Mookie won the MVP.
Yeah,
Okay,
Mookie.
Yeah.
okay, Mookie. But what the point is,
And Xander.
you don't necessarily need that name to be a player. If you look at the Angels, they had arguably the best two players the last 100 years in Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani, and they did shit. You look at the Yankees, they've had Judge, they've had a few other players that
Kermit.
they haven't done shit.
Kermit.
Yeah, Kermit Cole, they haven't done shit. You look at the Mets with penalties last year, I think their payroll was just under 500 million
Yeah.
and did dick.
Look
If
at the
you
Padres.
get some good, solid play, exactly, the Padres, they're throwing out money like they're laundering for the Sinaloa
Drug
cartel.
Not anymore.
Well,
They're trying to cut payroll.
I know,
Yep.
but if you go out there and you make those big splashes and you still don't do dick, you're going to be thrown to the wolves by the fans again. So I don't mind them making good baseball moves as long as they pay off.
But the question I have to that though is those teams, right? Padres, Mets, those teams that are doing that, have they finished in last place 3 out of the last 4 years? No.
They have not been competitive on the level they should be with the players that they signed, and that's the problem. And that's the problem.
I'll say that you need both. You need both. You need the bigger moves, whether it's signings, free agents, or whatnot. Like you need the star players, but you also need the supporting cast, right? You go look at you look at the Texas Rangers, and everyone talks about the money they spent and all this money, and you have the Semyons, Seagers, and you have all the pitching they brought in. You look at that Rangers lineup last year. They acquired Mitch Garver in a trade for what's his face? I don't even remember who it was at this point, but it didn't cost them a boatload to get Garver in that trade. You have Adolis Garcia, who they purchased from the Cardinals for like nothing. They got him for nothing, essentially. Evan Carter, second-round draft pick for them in 2020. Josh Young, first-round draft pick in 2019. Nathaniel Lowe, they got him for like nothing in a trade with the Rays back in 2020. Jonah Heim, they got him from the A's in 2021 in a trade.
Travis Jankowski.
Well, I'm getting there. Leody Tavares, amateur free agent signing in 2015, and Ezekiel Duran, they got him in the Joey Gallo trade. Like, most of their lineup wasn't the big guys, but those two big guys were massive parts of their lineup. But if they just had Seager and Semien, they wouldn't have done anything. It's like the Angels. You have Trout and Ohtani. Cool. What's the rest of your lineup? Right?
Right. And to that point, though, I feel that over the last couple years, with the talent that we do have some talent. We don't have those other big guys to help bring them along.
They're missing that big bat in the middle of the lineup.
Those big names are also vocal leaders. They're in front of the team leading. We don't have that. And that's what sucks. Like, I feel like we have a supporting cast. We just don't have that big missing piece. And for a franchise that it has more money than any other franchise out there, you're standing pat. It doesn't make any sense. Like, to that point, right? Teoscar, right? Is he the guy? Well, if you're not going to offer one more year, then I guess, yeah, he's not the guy. Who is the guy? Do you have a guy? Because right now, I don't see anybody being that guy because you haven't proven that you're going to bring in your guy. I think Chaim Bloom, I will give him credit on this. Masataka, right? He was Chaim's guy. He posted, I've got him in 45 minutes. Great. What else has happened? Nothing else has been like that. There's not one.
You can make the argument on Story that they stuck by him, that they stuck by Story. But like even then, Story only had 2 offers. It was the Red Sox and then the Rangers, but the Rangers were going to make him play center field.
Right.
And Story was a late signing. It was severe elbow.
Because he only had 2 offers.
It was a knee-jerk reaction. It's like, oh my God, we got.
No, it wasn't because of the lockout. He was late because of the lockout.
Yeah, it was the lockout, but there was the elbow.
But
it still was
got
late.
A glimpse we all got a glimpse of what Story can do. What was it, that 5 or 6 week period that he just went fucking MLB the Show video game type crazy?
Yeah, like
Right.
2 years ago.
He's got upside. This is
We have the Mariners. Yeah, he has upside.
He's going to be. This is his first.
It's his first normal off season.
First normal off season. He's going to have a full season next year. You got that kid O'Neal who looks like he and Duran lifted all the weight. They're
going to be gym buddies.
I would go up to him at the gym and say, "Hey, you fuckers can just stop." I mean, seriously, I don't think they can get any bigger. But we've got plenty of potential. I don't necessarily like the word reclamation. I've heard that thrown around a couple times. I think Mr. Casas, with his cornrows and beard and perfectly groomed eyebrows, is going to have an unbelievably good year. I think we're going to see that catcher prospect maybe come up a little sooner. I think his name is Teal, maybe.
Yeah,
we'll see.
I wouldn't hope. I mean, I read a few things about that kid that I wouldn't be surprised if he came up. I really wouldn't be.
I mean, I think you'll see him in 20. You could see him in 24, but you're not seeing him in any time early in the year.
Yeah, it would be after July.
But I mean, even still, to see him in 24 would be. I mean, it would be really, really good to see it. I mean, honestly, it says a lot about the kid and his abilities. But if you get one or two more starting, if you get a true ace to anchor the team, because we all know it's not Chris Sale anymore. I mean, the motherfucker sneezes and breaks a rib. But if we can get that one true number one, you got Bello and Sale for 2-3 maybe. You got this Giolito guy with his 7 ERA, and then maybe Nick Pivetta, Cutter Crawford. You got Tanner Hoxfield, Garrett Whitlock. You still have Kenley Jensen as your closer.
If he doesn't get traded.
If he doesn't get traded.
Been a lot of buzz.
Same thing with Chris Martin if he doesn't get traded.
But if we get a consistent second baseman, because our last consistent second baseman was Dustin Pedroia when he played 100 games. And I think that was 27. And I think that was 2017, maybe. But
Ian Kinsler,
they're not going to bring it. They're not going to bring in a second baseman. They've got prospects.
I don't know.
Try to put
I think they might roll Valdez at second base, and I think that I don't see a problem with that.
That little fucker's got some pop though, man. I like that kid.
He does.
The only problem is he's another lefty, but guess what? Who cares? Roll with it. You see what you have.
Bring it in. I don't think it's as dire as I see some people tweeting about or posting about on Instagram and what have you. I really question these fans. Are you really a fucking fan of the team? I mean, because no matter what the Sox do, it's not the right thing. And one thing I've learned to do this offseason, I'll tweet little shit here and there just to have some fun with it, but it's outside of my purview. It's out of my scope of control, so I don't give a thunderous fuck. I don't care about these contracts anymore. It's not my money. I'm going to spend $25,000 taking my family to Fenway no matter what. Fuck it. Sign whoever the hell you want to at this point. Hell, I can piss 50 miles an hour down Broadway. Sign me up. I will come out of the stands and
tell me when you're coming up to Fenway.
Yo, facts. We
will be up there the second week of May for 2 weeks.
Boom! That's just when I get out of school.
Let's go.
Perfect.
That's same here.
But
we'll be up there for 2 weeks.
Are you going home for spring break?
No.
Stats. No.
I'm not planning on it right now.
Yeah. I mean, what's our goal? What's our goal for spring training? What's our goal for spring training?
If we do something for spring training, I will fly to Fort Myers. But if we're not, I'm not flying because flight tickets are obnoxiously expensive to Florida for spring break.
Yeah, they are. They're expensive in general.
Well, we can fly out Frontier. Frontier's pretty cheap.
Feel free to GoFundMe if you need.
Mind flying on the lawn chair.
I can fly. It's just I'd rather save the money because I can use it for Red Sox tickets. Let's be honest.
Right.
Have you flown
went
Frontier,
to Fort Myers last
Jeremy?
summer. It was awesome.
I have not flown Frontier. I have only flown once in the last.
It's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable.
I have flown once in the last 10 years, and that was this last July. And I don't necessarily hate flying. I just fucking hate airports.
Wait, you drove to Florida?
Yeah, hell yeah, I did.
I do too.
You ever travel with kids?
Yeah.
Yeah, you ever been on a plane with
He
kids?
is a kid.
No, I am a kid.
Being on a plane with kids, I would rather stab my eyeball out with a freaking butter knife.
You know,
Get on a
especially
plane.
if they're little kids and they're crying, because then you feel bad because you know there's nothing you can do, but at the same time you feel guilty because it's your kid.
Right. If I throw them in a fucking car, here's a DVD player, go watch Toy Story, we're good, let's go. And they're going to fall asleep in a matter of hours. I am good.
So,
Not only that, I get to drive, everybody else falls asleep, and I just got me and music and the road, and I'm good.
So last week, I took the wife and kids. All of us went to Six Flags for Holiday in the Park, so they could all see the Christmas tree and all that stupid shit. So I went just to be dad, just to spend time with the family, and we're loading up in my wife's Durango. All of us. There's a total of 6 of us. I'm driving, wife's shotgun. Little bastards are in the back seats. They're going at each other like it's Al Qaeda versus ISIS, common goals, but they can't get along. And I told them, I was like, look, you little fuckers want me to take you to Boston next year. Better get your shit squared away now, because your mother and I will straight up fucking leave you here and go to Boston all by ourselves. We have zero problem leaving you here all to yourselves. I told my 18-year-old, you're 18-year-old now. You know the number to 911. Good luck. We're all
the number to 911. Oh my gosh. I'm saving that for when I have kids, hopefully.
Here's the phrase I always throw out to mine. When they start doing that shit and they're fighting and touching each other and all this, and I'll turn around and look at them and go, if I have to get involved, you all lose. So knock it off. And then they're like, oh crap. Okay.
No, I think
awesome.
I think what I'm gonna wind up doing is trying to rent one of those Sprinter vans, those real large ones. So they have a little bit more room than the Durango that I have. The Durango we have is nice. It's fully loaded and all that stupid shit. But when you're in a vehicle for 30 hours, you're gonna want to start killing each other. So we're gonna do 3 days up. Stop off a couple different places, kind of break up the trip a little bit, spend a full 7 days in Boston, and then take 3 days coming back, just having some fun.
Yeah, you should
definitely come through stop on the
Illinois,
way back.
Go to a Brewers game.
Yes.
The wife and I are actually talking about just her and I coming up to Chicago.
Hell yeah.
Because our 20th is next month. We got married in Chicago, and she and I want to see a game at Wrigley before I get too comfortable and never want to fucking go anywhere again.
All right.
You guys, if you're driving, you know where you need to stop on the way back.
Tell me,
make a detour for it. It's in St. Louis, which is the Negro Baseball Hall of Fame.
Oh, that would be cool.
I've heard it's amazing.
Really cool.
I talked to someone who went went like a couple months ago, and they said like it was so worth it.
I have heard that. Yeah. The rest of St. Louis can burn in hell, but
yeah. Now, I got lucky once. I met a guy named John the Mule Miles, and he played for the Grays. And I actually have his autograph in his baseball card here at the house framed. So I would love to see his stuff at their Hall of Fame. That would be super, super cool. Yeah. That's if I don't go to jail for murdering my children and leaving them But no, the wife and I actually talked about coming up to catch a game at Wrigley and then catch a game where the Brewers play. What's it called again? Where did the Brewers play?
American Family Field.
Miller Park.
American Family Field, Financial, I don't know, whatever. It's
but we would.
You might as well name it Dave O'Brien Field.
Yeah,
might as well.
Yeah, the only problem I have coming up there is fucking O'Hare Airport is the worst airport I've ever been to in my life. It is ungodly large and packed all the time.
You've obviously never been to LaGuardia.
No.
Or JFK.
No,
I've been to 2 airports ever.
I've been to I want to say 7.
I've been to
for me, 1 is Logan. You know what the other one is?
Logan again?
Fort Myers.
Fort Myers, yeah.
So I'll name the airports I've been to. I've been to Tampa and Orlando, the international ones. Then there's like a Tampa St. Pete one that's like or Clearwater that's like this smaller one. There's one in Orlando that's smaller as well. I've been to the one in Bangor because I went to school in Maine for a year, which was dumb, but besides the point. And then Logan and TF Green.
I've been TF Green, Logan, Nova Scotia, Detroit, Newark, LaGuardia, O'Hare, Milwaukee, Ottawa. Let's see, Denver. That's a scary fucking place. They got the zombie horse there. It's. I'm not kidding. I am not kidding. That Denver airport is fucked up. The Illuminati built that shit. So.
Yeah, dude. No, seriously. Watch some videos on how they built it, and they've got all these underground like tunnels and everything underneath the Denver airport. It's kind of weird and creepy.
It is. It is. I've been in Dallas, Fort Worth, and what's the other one? I can't remember, but yeah. Anyways, so quite a few airports. I flew a lot when I was a kid, and yeah, I hate airports. So
I've been to too many, and I spoiled myself, or my wife spoiled me by flying us first class. Once we did that, I will never go back. I'll pay the extra money. It's so much more convenient.
I'd rather go broke than fly in cabin.
Oh yeah, I'll sell one of the children to make myself more comfortable. I'll definitely get rid of one of the kids. Oh, and by the way, Brown, the wife and I will send a couple of the kids up there to you anytime you want. Let us know.
Oh my!
I'll put them to work.
Uncle Jeff.
I'll feed them to the walls. I'll feed them some peanut butter and jelly.
Hey, that
They'll
sounds
be
good to
living
me.
in the cellar off crumbs. I don't do
Perfect.
well with kids. I don't
Perfect.
do well with kids.
He won't take them. So
no.
Oh, I do have something.
Is it news?
So once Giolito started performing bad, was after him and his wife filed for divorce.
Yeah,
you know what that means? Today. You know what that means? A revenge season incoming.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
He's about to win the Cy Young boys.
That could do it.
Unless
World Series
she got half in the divorce.
Right.
He won't want to. He won't want to.
That's why he signed for $19 million.
Yeah, but if she's going to get half of that,
right?
Having been through a divorce, I can tell you this: you don't want to do shit when you go through that divorce. It is.
You've been raped and bent over the friggin' coals.
Yeah, it's like getting kicked in the nuts every day, several times a day.
Did you say rape with the K, or did you say it with a different letter? Because we might need to bleep it out.
Rape. I said rape. Raped.
Okay, I'm just making sure.
With a K. With a K.
I was making sure.
Yeah.
With a K.
Rape.
I didn't want anything to have to be bleeped out.
That accent.
We're family friendly.
It's
here.
the I's, the P's, the K's. We can't figure it out.
All right, so Jeremy, guys, I have Fenway South.
Yes, sir.
My wife just she just gave me permission. We're creating a second office here. It's a Star Wars themed office. We're naming the Death Star.
Oh shit!
Oh shit! It's gonna be fucking cool as shit. One of the walls is gonna have the same aesthetic that the Death Star does, where it's got the menacing lights. It's gonna have all kinds of shit, dude. It's gonna be super cool.
Shit.
So I have to switch back and forth between offices for podcasts.
Right? Yeah, you're gonna have to do that.
I can't wait, man.
So when are you coming to Chicago?
We were talking this season. It's going to depend greatly on what this first quarter does for me as far as the business goes.
Yeah.
We expanded our line a little bit. We're up to 50 designs now. I'm supposed to have a meeting in about 2 weeks with the coffee vendor to potentially launch our coffee line. And my brother and I are still trying to get a meeting with Rebecca Creek Whiskey to do a whiskey brand as well.
Shit.
So once I have all that lined up, then it'll give me
what the hell?
Better understanding of what
we're
doing.
Guess who the Dodgers are supposedly in negotiation, or guess who the Dodgers are reportedly pursuing?
Robert Taylor. Robert Taylor.
Imanaga.
Holy shit! What? For who?
You know who wants to? You know who wants to play for the Dodgers? No, that's right. No, you know who wants to play with Ohtani when he comes over to the MLB?
Sasaki.
Roki Sasaki.
Munetaka Murakami, who's the best hitter in Japan, who's a third baseman, who's expected to come over after 2025. Guess whose contract ends in 2025 with the Dodgers? Max Muncy.
Oh, fuck off.
They're gonna be. I was joking with my grandfather earlier today. I was like, "Yeah, they're the Team Japan Dodgers."
Right.
It might actually happen.
Right.
The 2026 World Baseball Classic, the Dodgers versus the U.S.
Dodgers.
They're not going to be Samurai Japan. They're going to be Dodgers Japan.
It's Samurai Dodgers.
Samurai Dodgers. Yeah, there you go.
Oh man, Jesus Christ, dude! It's amazing how teams can just stack themselves up. The Dodgers literally look like the forced trade on MLB The Show, where the system doesn't want to do it, but you force it, so you create this super team.
Right.
And it's like my brother has in his bedroom at the house. He has like a 75-inch TV, and he plays MLB The Show. Well, he's using the Red Sox. Well, he's 3/4 of the way through the season, and he's like 120-1. And Adam Duvall's still on the team, and Adam Duvall through that same period is like got 100 home runs. Rafi's like at 9. It's just insane. That's what the fucking Dodgers remind me of now. That they're on cheat code, or cheat mode rather, with cheat codes and everything. It's insane.
The Dodgers are what I did in MLB The Show 07, where I went 162-0 with the Red Sox because I literally just had everybody. So
That's
No.
the way to do it.
No. You want to? I'll one up you on MLB 2K10 when I went 162-0 with the Red Sox and I won the MVP with Aaron Bates. This relates because he's currently the Dodgers. I think he's their co-hitting coach. Shout out Aaron Bates.
Yeah. Oh God.
You wanted him on the Sox for so fucking long.
I think my shortstop was Ty Wigington in 07 there.
Oh, that's a name.
Yeah, isn't it?
That's a name.
That was my shortstop, but he was a fucking stud.
Oh no, I traded for Hanley Ramirez. I still love Hanley. I've always loved Hanley.
Oh my God.
Hey guys, wife is calling me over. It is
All right.
time for me to hop off. It was so good to see you all again. Let's do this again real soon.
Absolutely.
Mr. Brown, always good to see you. Thank you for the support, and the shirt looks good on you. Mr. Jeremy, always good to see you. Stats, I'm really happy for you, living your best fucking life. Jason, I need to see some grades, otherwise I'm gonna put you on fucking restriction.
I got an A on both my finals.
Right,
I can send proof.
Because
I'll
otherwise
send
I was
proof.
gonna come up there, young man.
I mean, you
All
are
right,
gonna.
guys.
I mean, it would be a win for you, but okay.
All right, I'll come up there. All right, guys, you have a great weekend, and if I don't talk to y'all before the 31st, Happy New Year. Be safe. Drink a few for me. I'll be drinking a lot of Diet Coke.
You got it.
All right, guys. Take care.
Take care,
Bye.
Taylor.
All right.
Yeah, we'll probably wrap up here soon.
Right. I got more beer to drink.
Yeah. Anyways, with that friendly note in mind, anything else? Final remarks?
We do have something from Alex Spear.
Oh, shit.
Okay.
Red Sox are still interested in Teoscar Hernandez even after signing Lucas Giolito, and they are continuing to explore trades involving their young outfielders, which would presumably mean Duran, Abreu, and Rafaela. So that's of note.
Does Rafaela have any a lot of value or no?
Yeah, I mean, not as much as Duran because Duran's proven it at the big leagues, at least for a year. Here's the thing. I think if you trade Duran, you're cashing in on him because you're saying, we don't know how much better he's going to get than this, and we can go use him and get legitimate pitching. Rafaela, I think you're more so looking, and for Rafaela, you're more so looking at like a guy like an Edward Cabrera in a trade or something along those lines where it's like you can get a pitcher with term, but you're not getting anything near. I don't think you're getting near top of the rotation with a Rafaela. With Duran, you package him with the right piece. You could get a guy even with decent term for the top of the rotation. I think Duran, if you're looking for top of the rotation or at least close to it in a trade, I think Duran's the guy that's got to be traded to get that.
Duran for my confirmed.
And the thing is, too, the other thing I want to add is, Jason and I brought this up, everyone assumes if Duran were to be traded, Rafael is going to play center field. Not necessarily. He could still be sent down because Wilyer Abreu played more innings in center field in the big leagues last year than he did in any other outfield spot. Tyler O'Neill can also play center field. And then Ref Snyder can play center field against lefties.
Yep.
So it's not like they wouldn't have a center fielder. So I don't think it's a shoo-in at all that Rafaela would be the opening day center fielder if Duran gets traded. I don't think that's a shoo-in at all.
True. I don't know. There's still a lot of questions out there.
Still a lot of off season to go though too. We still have
still a lot of
still and we it's like we have like a month and a half until pitchers and catchers report. I think
right.
A month and a half in free agency terms is like a year at this point because no one signs until the last feels like 2 weeks. It feels like not that it's all not everyone, but you get what I mean in that sense. Like it always drags out. Like it's like we're getting to the new year. Why haven't they really done anything? It's like, well, how many guys have really signed?
Right.
Like
I don't think the majority of Boris's guys have signed either.
No.
They
And like that's the thing. And the thing is too is like the trade market also isn't moving a ton. Why? Because the free agent market hasn't really moved, and the trade market's not going to really move until the free agent market starts to move. So I'll use an example with Seattle. Seattle isn't really in talks right now, and a ton of talks in terms of their young controllable pitchers. Why? Because they need hitters. They're only going to trade them for hitters. But if they can go get hitters on the free agent market, it might change what the ask is for those pitchers or which pitchers they'd actually be willing to give up or whatnot. So that's, I think, why like the trade market hasn't been moving. And that's always the case normally in the offseason. You're not going to see any of these bigger trades happen until the free agent dominoes start happening. Because also, too, free agency, all you got to do is give the guy money. You don't have to trade anything for him.
Right.
So.
Any last thoughts? Full throttle gelato?
None whatsoever. I'm curious. An off subject thought is I'm curious to see the new Russian center that the Bruins are bringing up tomorrow. The Bruins have needed a center depth for a while, so I'm curious to see what this kid's going to bring. And a Russian
and Patra playing in the World Juniors doesn't help that center depth.
Always bringing a Russian up is fun to watch because they get a little. No, I mean seriously though, they got a little bit of what do you call it? Angst underneath their belt. They like to hit people.
Did you guys see the Nick Ritchie video?
No.
Yeah.
He's playing in Europe and he just straight up punched the guy straight in the face. Like sucker punch. He just started punching him and then the guy was on the ground. He's still got his gloves on. He's punching his head into the ground.
That's so Nick Ritchie.
It's such a Nick Ritchie move.
Mm-hmm.
I saw that earlier today.
The Canadians lost today.
Yes, that's always a good thing.
Yeah.
And the brothers have 2 shots on goal combined.
Hey!
I've got 1 player out of my 5 that have hit the mark so far.
Yeah, that's how my bets go. So,
well, that's why the odds were what they were.
Well, that's why it wasn't a big bet. So
no, but the payoff, shit.
The payoff. I hardly ever bet on hockey.
Right.
A friend of mine's like, "You make any bets tonight?" I was like, I was rushing. I'm like, all right,
betting
let's see
hockey.
It beats betting on the NFL. Referee tripping.
Well, I'll bet a game tomorrow because Pasternak. I'll bet high on Pasternak to get a bunch of shots on goal.
Yeah,
he shoots the puck. If you could bet on the World Juniors, that'd be cool because then you could just bet Carter Gauthier with shot attempts. That dude, all he does is shoot the puck. He put him on the power play. He just shoots. That's all he does.
Dude, you could bet on ping pong. You could bet on the World Juniors.
Yes, you probably can.
You probably can. But all that dude does is shoot the puck. They were talking about it they're like, oh yeah, this guy is averaging in this tournament 9 shots a game with other NHL players that were playing. It's like, you're 19. Why are you averaging 10 shots a game?
Yeah, I got the Bruins
every
versus
time
Neville.
the puck comes to him, that's what he does.
That's all he does. They put him on the power play in the game against Canada, in the pre-tournament exhibition game against Canada. They put him over there, and all he did, got the puck, shot it. Got the puck, shot it. Got the puck, shot it. That's all he did.
Making red line shots.
He's sitting there on the power play on the right side, and he's just, because he's a lefty, just sitting there, get the puck, shoot. Get the puck, shoot. Get the puck, shoot. That's it. He didn't do anything else on the power play, but he shot the puck.
He's the Kyle Schwarber of hockey.
It's like when Pasta just stands there on the left side because he's right. He just waits for someone to pass the puck so he can slap his one timer. Or no, actually, better comparison is Ovechkin. That's all Ovechkin does.
Yes.
He just stands there. He doesn't move. He just stands there waiting for a one timer. Come on, someone pass me the puck. Someone pass me the cup. Goal.
The ultimate.
While we're talking about hockey, if you get time tonight, go look up Jonathan Quick's save tonight. It was insane.
I saw that.
Did you see it?
That's save of the year.
It's save of the year. It might be save of the decade. It was just
he's having a resurgence.
It was an instinct type thing with his pad, and it's just like, but he intended to do what he did.
Huh.
You know, there was purpose behind it, but it was insane.
So all right. Do I have a final thought?
Yes.
Let's see. My final thought would be the Giolito signing is in terms of like, let's say I really want to have a beer, like really look forward to it. I really want a beer. This would be like giving me Miller High Life Light. That's kind of how I feel about this. So
I would say it would be like Dave O'Brien narrating my life.
Yeah, dude, Diamond Dave.
with Jack Edwards for the intro.
With Jack Edwards going, oh, he whips it out.
Scores! They are polar opposites.
Yeah.
Yes.
They'll be the most meaningless goal. The Bruins will be down by 6. And I don't know. Name a random fourth line. Like the Walderspoon would get a goal. Meaningless goal in garbage time. He'll be like, scores! Pasternak could get a game-winning goal in Game 7, and O'Brien would be like, Pasternak scores!
Right.
Bruins win.
Dude, someone on the Bruins just steals the puck from someone, and Jack Edwards having a heart attack in the booth. He sees Pat Maroon. Oh, look how fat Pat eating a pizza in the locker room.
And you know, Brick's just sitting there looking at him like, what the fuck, dude?
Oh, he sounds like he's having about 8 mini strokes a game.
Jack, but it's so good. It's so good because it's so outrageous. It makes it like 20 times. Yes, it is. It's so good.
Kids watch the game with
you
me,
might think that, but a lot of fans do not like Jack Edwards.
My kids will watch the game with me, and I shit you not, every time they watch it, they look at me and go, Dad, what's wrong with that guy? They really think there's something wrong with it.
Yeah. You know who
I
he
love that
sounds like?
he's the most outrageous homer, too. I love it. Love it. Dude, Marchand Slewfoot's a guy. He didn't touch him. Some guy just taps a Bruins guy. That's a Slewfoot.
All right, Jeremy, you'll be able to remember this.
Yeah.
Who was known for New Year's Eve?
Dick
for
Clark.
Years. He sounds like Dick Clark when they strolled him out after the stroke.
Yes.
That's like this is not nice. This is elder abuse.
This is elder abuse. This is just
elder abuse. He might have had a stroke though. We don't know.
Nobody knows.
Watching him on video is just as funny because Brickley's just standing there like he has no clue what's going on. Doesn't flinch, doesn't move. Edwards is jumping around like a monkey at a circus.
You guys have to go on YouTube and look up like Jack Edwards' best moments or funniest moments.
I don't want to.
There's like a bunch of videos.
I'll never be that bored.
Gosh. No, it's so good. It is so good. It's awesome. I love that he's a homer because it's so outrageous. He's the biggest homer I think you will ever see.
Jeremy, are you old enough to remember Johnny Most?
Oh yeah, Johnny Most. Yep.
The Celtics.
Bird steals the ball.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, but he was a homer.
Yeah, he was.
He was a homer.
But
so was the other Celtics announcer, Tommy Heisen. He was
Tommy
oh
Heisen.
my God. He was the biggest homer besides the guy who used to do the White Sox announcing.
Yeah, Hawk Harrelson.
Hawk Harrelson.
Yep.
I mean,
Tommy Heisen, he would, if a Knicks player would just stare at a Celtics player the wrong way. That's a technical. I don't know why he's doing that.
To be fair, it would be a technical nowadays. Let's be honest.
Nowadays,
yeah.
This is back in the '80s where you can punch each other, and it's like,
yeah. Although I will say this, I'll talk about all these homers, and then the Red Sox are stuck with Dave O'Brien, who actively roots for the other team half the time.
Yes.
Home run, Adley Rutschman! Oh my God, the Red Sox are losing 10-2.
Oh my God!
Fly ball, deep left field, home run, Tristan Casas. He got all of it.
We're gonna hit every sport. We might hit Scott Zolak because he is a huge homer too. You ever listen to Scott Zolak on 98.5? The Sports Hub?
Oh my God!
I mean, I don't know how he gets away with some of the stuff he gets away with. Well, I think he's funny because he's just a pure-hearted fan who just says what he wants to say on air. He doesn't give a shit.
Never say anything bad about Scott Zolak, just simply because one of my first memories as a Patriots fan was that he won 2 games in a row for us in, I think it was 1990. He won 2 games in a row for us, and it was amazing. That was the best 2 games.
Nobody has any idea how bad the Patriots were, man. Back in the early 90s, early to mid 90s, they were atrocious.
The difference is now everyone gets upset when they win.
Right.
Yeah.
We want a better draft pick.
At first, I was getting pissed.
I'm totally on the Zappy bandwagon. If you get an offensive lineman and
he can play
wide receiver, the boy can
get
play,
Mac
man.
back in there. Nope, get Mac back in there.
Oh, give me a friggin' break, dude. That kid's confidence
Mac
is totally
Jones.
For the rest of this
Mac
year.
Jones.
Get Mac back in there for the rest
You're
of this
just
year.
saying you're trying to piss me off right now, aren't you?
I want a better draft
You're
pick.
full of shit, bro.
I want a better draft pick.
But realistically, if they have top 3, if they have the 3rd pick, theoretically,
cool.
Yeah.
I'm cool
would you
to
go?
have
Wait.
If
Would
they
you
win
go
another
Marvin
game, I'm losing my
Harrison?
shit.
Would you go Marvin Harrison or
No.
Jaden Daniels?
Marv.
No, the Patriots have never done well
Maserati
with
Marv.
Oh God.
Bill's going to
Can
trade
we
down.
get
The Patriots have
Johnson
never
on
done well
Patriots games when
historically
they
with wide
pick
receiver
Marvin
draft
Harrison?
picks.
No,
Ever.
no wide receiver.
You want to know a wide receiver draft pick that the biggest wide receiver draft pick they ever drafted high? Tony Glenn. Go
Irving
look him up.
Fry.
He
N'Keal
was
Harry?
awful.
What, N'Keal
Ohio
Harry?
State.
No,
but
I
Tony
want
Glenn.
no.
Terry Glenn.
Yeah,
Terry
Terry
Glenn.
Glenn.
I'm sorry.
No, they have
He-
to make
he
a
was,
deal.
what, a
The
top 5
Patriots
draft
draft
pick, wasn't
Marvin
he?
Harrison Jr. and Gus Johnson has to do all the Patriots games, so we can just go Maserati Marv down the sideline, touchdown Maserati Marv.
Holy
Oh
shit!
my God.
Dude, have you watched Ohio
Dude,
State? That's all he does.
I miss when he did Dobbins games. He's like JK all day.
You got barbecue back there. You didn't invite me. Hurt my feelings.
Okay. Alrighty, guys. It's 9:30. Any final thoughts? I think this is supposed to be an emergency briefing. Lucas Giolito signs with the Red Sox. Now we're talking
And what
about
do we do?
yeah,
Gus Johnson.
off the rails. It's a classic
the
off the
rails.
monster. Well, it's actually the
Gus
blah blah
Johnson.
blah. This is blah blah blah.
Blah blah blah. Off the
Yeah,
rails.
but you have the Monster Crew. We're famous for going off the rails.
We might as well change our podcast to off the rails.
Yes.
Yeah. That's too
Off
much
Off the
blah,
time.
blah,
monster rails.
We got to build webs. We got to build.
Welcome back
Twitter
to Off the
handles
Rails.
again, and off the rails is
I'm
probably
kidding,
some
Doc.
guy who's like on the wagon because he stopped doing coke. Maybe that's Taylor's old handle.
The guy.
I think
Yo, we
that's
need
a
to
good
make-
place to end it.
Hold on,
Yeah,
hold on.
yeah.
We need a nickname for whoever the Patriots draft. We got to figure out a nickname for whoever they draft. We already got Maserati Marv. That's set.
You're gonna draft some punt returner out of
No,
Oklahoma
they're going
State.
to draft
Not
the tackle
Alaska
out of Notre
State.
Dame. They're drafting the tackle out of Notre Dame. Joe Alt. I think
Joe
his name
Alt?
is. Joe Alt, delete.
Joe Obsolete. I'm
No,
kidding.
Alt. His last name is Alt,
No.
I think. A-L-T.
Yeah,
Joe
no,
Alt.
it is.
Joe Alt.
Yeah.
I like that. Joe Alt delete.
Yeah, I like that.
Like Control Alt
Oh my
delete. Joe Alt
God.
delete.
It's going to be awfully hard to come up with 5 nicknames when Bill trades down and gets 5 other.
That's your homework. That's your homework. Okay.
That's the homework.
That's the homework. Okay.
Dude, they're beating Buffalo this week. I don't know what you're talking about.
I swear to God, if they beat Buffalo, I will go to find Belichick's office and I'll smash his window.
Okay. You heard it here, folks.
I'm not being
John Henry's
serious.
trust fund will break. John Henry. No.
He will be arrested.
John Henry's
this
trust
weekend
fund will pay for
breaking
Belichick
Belichick's
to be
window.
fired.
Alrighty. For Mr. Taylor, who isn't here anymore, for Lucas Kluber, thank you. For Full Throttle Gelato, for John Henry's Trust Fund, I'm Lucas Giolito. Thank you for tuning into this emergency briefing of the blah, 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 and go Red Sox, and go Sox.
Lucas Giolito!